Now I will be attempting the impossible in this video and placing the top tier Beyblade character from all generations thus far in an arbitrary multiversal power scale in order to see where they would rank amongst the strongest characters in all of anime. Crazy, I know. Now, along the way, we'll take a look at how average people like you and me compare to them. I'll make this into a top 10 countdown too, as I plot them on a tier list, which itself is quite subjective, as not everyone can agree on the power limits and scale of each Beyblade character. Starting off in the E tier class of Bladers, coming in at number 10, we have Frida La Jolla. Oh, why E, you ask? Well, it's reserved for sports type anime characters, but let's not get hung up on the details yet, alright? He has done physical feats that we can measure. He has lifted at least 4,000 pounds by himself, and that's while working out. He's known to be a very strong character, and also held the #1 blader position in the world. Now remember, in most shows like Naruto, Bleach, and yes, even Beyblade, we can see similar inner workings where, depending on how strong your spiritual pressure, your chi, or aura is, it can be manifested and controlled to do specific moves, like shooting projectiles and even influence the environment. Now granted, this is my first power scale video, and as such, the views expressed are my own, and in no way am I saying that you have to believe me, but even at this point, Free is well over a human's power, many times over, and this is because the strongest powerlifters can deadlift, squat, or even bench press about 500 kilograms or about 1,100 pounds. So yeah, our boy Free is a freak of nature. But now imagine this, to break a Beyblade though, the force needed is over 81,500 psi. Don't ask me how I know, I just know, okay? This force is equivalent to the pressure exerted by a military tank driving over a small, delicate object like a soda can. The weight and power of the tank concentrated on the tiny contact area would result in an immense force, easily crushing the can without much effort. Now that's the impact force we're talking about to help us understand the next Blader's power level. For number 9, Isley Valhalla, as he has beaten most of the legends and broken several Beyblades, even breaking 2 at the same time. Now did you know that even in the Burst series, Beyblades are made of metal? As I've discussed in this previous video linked below, the metal in the beys, in my opinion, is an alloy made of chromium, cobalt, tungsten, which is incredibly strong. Even when compared to Phi, the king of destruction, Lane has proven to be much stronger. Plus, due to the fact that his Beyblade is from a newer generation and his avatar, also known as Lucifer, is basically like having the demon god from hell as his Beyblade avatar. Coupled with his physical strength, this makes him feared by most other Bladers. This is a 10-year-old we're talking about, wielding the power of a demon. And I'm just getting warmed up because Beyblade has a fair amount of main and side characters that display their strengths throughout its TV run, starting in the early 2000s. Now, although we haven't seen all the Beyblade Burst Quad Strike season at the time of recording this video, and the integration of Beyblade X and its lore, I don't think this power scale will be altered severely by them, and so that's why I'm omitting these seasons altogether. But I may revise the power scale if need be in the future. Now moving along, we have our number 8 Blader, Gwen Reynolds, a very underrated Blader with one of the highest IQ in the world of Beyblade. He too has broken many beys as shown in the manga. His understanding of mathematics and astronomy make him a force to be reckoned with. In the finals versus Dante, it was shown that he has tremendous power too, as his attack could be seen from space. We don't know the full extent of Gwen's power, and we may never know. But what about Dante, you may be saying? He did end up being Gwen, so does that mean he's stronger? Well, this list is surprisingly short compared to the total amount of Bladers we've seen on screen. And so wait until the end of the video, and if you feel I've left out any important character, just know that I couldn't include everybody without the video being extremely long or overly complicated. Now, I usually focus on the Beyblade characters in particular, but if you want me to cover another anime show, just let me know in the comments. Plus, from what I've seen, the Beyblade Metal Saga series had some of the strongest feats on screen, so it would likely be very skewed to include more of those characters had I made the list longer. Speaking of which, in number 7, we have Kiyoya. Now, he has a launch so strong that his Bey Fang Leon can break boulders. It can create up to 3 motherfucking cyclones that push people and other objects like helicopters far away. That force needs a wind speed of about 70 knots or approximately 80 miles per hour, or if you like metrics, 130 kilometers per hour. With this power, he's basically able to wreak havoc on cities and create destruction only very few bladers can match. He's held his own against Ryuga and pushed them to the edge, a feat very few can claim to have done. Now, we can safely assume that all the bladers have a base power, as in most anime, humans can have extraordinary abilities like Ichigo, Naruto, and even Saitama, also known as the One Punch Man, which only manifest in battle or at will, such as in training. Like I've said before though, I think that the difference between Beyblade and other anime is that the exertion of power is only seen while bladers are using their Beyblade in the battles, while launching or perhaps through controlling their Beyblade to perform specific feats, like let's say going up a waterfall or parting a river. If they had to fight though, this power could essentially be channeled into an immense display of strength, but still, they have their limitations. Beyblade characters are not able to physically teleport instantly, nor the ability to fly. They have no psychic abilities, nor have any special quirks, like in My Hero Academia. For some of the bladers, it's the bond between them and the Bit Beast, the star constellation, or Beyblade avatar that increases their overall performance. Now, in rare cases, it's a literal god's power, which these bladers tap into. Moreover, in the Beyblade universe, only a few bladers can come close to the threshold where we would consider them to have somewhat godlike strength, speed, or knowledge. As a prime example, Valtaoi, known as the Legend of Legends, is at number 6. He has a strong bond with Valkyrie. This is a Norse mythological deity, and he's lifted the same 4,000-pound boulder Free was exercising with. And like I said before, the bond between Blader and Bey can be used as a power source. Vault is definitely strong, and he has an incomparable bond with his Beyblade. But still, he has been beaten by some of the previous mentioned bladers. His ability relies in his determination to be the best and the power of friendship, but that doesn't always work for him. He may be one of the strongest bladers in the burst generation. What about when compared to the feats done in other Beyblade generations? Well, for that we can look to the next blader on the list. At number 5 is Brooklyn, the antagonist for the Beyblade G Revolution series. He can create different dimensions with his mind and can recreate the world as he sees fit, transporting people in the vicinity. Granted, this isn't the same as instant teleportation like something that Goku has, but still, this is an incredible feat to accomplish. He has created a black hole or wormhole as described by the Beyblade announcer with the power of his mind, which was able to destroy a whole city. Now that alone is pretty much a world-ending scenario if it happened in real life. He was also shown to be able to morph his body at will. Along with his Beyblade Zeus, he can potentially have limitless power based in the confines of his mind alone. At this point, Brooklyn jumps the rank to be a potential planet buster, only he doesn't really know how to fight, I'm guessing anyways. So I'm comfortable placing him at the C rank level. Now at this point, bladers are nothing like us in the real world. The force of a black hole is almost incomprehensible to the smartest scientists. But one thing is for sure, the next few bladers have the power to end life as we know it. But they too have to train hard in order to go beyond their own normal power levels as humans and perhaps learn some ninjutsu. Now these bladers are exceptional, and to calculate just how much I had to watch hours of the Beyblade shows and make mountains of arbitrary calculations to gauge the bladers' abilities to control not only their launch, but the Beyblades, while compiling evidence as to how strong they really are. Case in point, the number 4 blader, Ryuga, the Dragon Emperor, can and has leveled a city. He can counter a black hole, as shown when he destroyed one made by Faust. And seriously, he made it look easy. He wields the forbidden Beyblade El Drago, which can absorb others' power and negative energy to make it his own. Now, using any of his ultimate moves, he can summon lightning and of course the dragons to cause serious damage. Although he's still not the strongest in this list, he alone can cause the destruction of worlds if he chose to. He's borderline B rank if you ask me. Now, I'm not saying that he could be stronger than Naruto, and believe me, I've watched a bunch of Naruto scale videos, Superman scale videos, and Dragon Ball Z scaling videos, all of which can get super complicated and gave me an idea on how to try and rank Beyblade characters. I still can't believe that in the anime fandom, Beyblade characters are never really included, as we can see the destructive force they wield. I was also very dumbfounded as to how the current power scale videos for Beyblade characters measured their character's power, because they don't offer a base or something to compare it to. Now, maybe I'm too old, or maybe I'm just asking for too much. Like for me, watching Two Little Bars rise didn't really give me a sense of how powerful our favorite bladers actually are. So I do hope that I'm doing our characters justice and demonstrating their true power. Now remember, at the end of the video, I'll be including the top ranked blader in the multiversal tier scale in order to fully classify the bladers compared to other anime characters. There are other anime shows I love watching, and since most anime is based on the same principles, my reasoning is that they're all, in one way or another, using the same Japanese folklore and mythology, featuring characters such as kami, which are spirits or deities, and tsukumogami, I think that's how you say it, meaning household objects that have come to life, in which I think Beyblade is a mixture of the two concepts. So with all that being said, let's keep it going with our number 3 blader, and that's Tyson. He was shown to be able to use his mind and which is a real thing, go look it up, to counteract Brooklyn in his own dimension, and was able to destroy a black hole created by our number 5 entry by going inside the black hole itself. Now, in theory, that means that he could withstand gravitational forces far surpassing that of Earth's, along with tidal forces that rip apart objects at an atomic scale. Our current understanding of black holes is theoretical, and so is implementing them on the anime show. So let's just say that a feat like this can't really be measured. For our number 2 blader, we have Rego, fused with Nemesis, god of destruction, and was capable of destroying the world and summon a black sun. Rego was able to call forth all the special moves of different bladers to counter them with their own attack or others. Notably, it took the whole world's population, which I'll assume is about 7 to 8 billion people, to counteract this assault on the world, along with the power of legendary bladers like Jinga and Kiyoya. But alone, these bladers stood no chance against Rego. He is potentially in the B class tier of bladers, as his power of destruction is definitely on a planetary level. He beat Ryuga and fused with Nemesis, a literal god, and wielded the power of a small sun. These feats are some of what makes him one of the strongest Beyblade characters. Before I go into the number 1 blader in our countdown, I have 2 honorable mentions. The first being Faust. He can level a city with the help of the Spiral Force. Now, this is a device, but the Bey itself grants a blader the power to manipulate time and space. Twisted Temple's special move can also create a black hole and its own dimension. Arguably though, this power seemed to be separate from Faust, and looks like it hurt him to use. Now, the second honorable mention is Tala. He had fused all the Bit Beasts into his own Beyblade and had the power to combine them, and also he can make his own ice dimension to battle in. Ultimately though, he was beaten by our number 3 blader, and now, my number 1 pick is Jinga Hagane. He's got one of the strongest launches ever, beating out Captain Capri, who is known to launch at the speed of light. He has defeated 100 bladers at the same time, and as far as I know, he's the only blader to ever do so. He has defeated a god in Nemesis. He's able to use the power of friendship and combine everyone in the world's blader spirit to infuse into his own power. But that's not all, because now comes arguably one of the hardest things I have to do in this video, which is figure out where Jinga, the strongest blader in all generations of Beyblade, would rank in all of anime. For context and simplicity, I've been using this tier list from Nuts' channel, linked below, as I think he's made a substantial contribution to the tier list ranks already, and for the most part, I like the way he's plotted them for a power scale. So I think, with all the powers vested in me by the YouTube gods, Beyblade characters would be ranked at the very least in the E-class tier, which is reserved for sports anime characters, while our top ranked blader would be part of the B rank in power scale. Now, I believe that he can hold his own versus Naruto, Ichigo, or even Ash, if need be. Now, I will say though, that even if bladers could focus their strength and training towards fighting, they still couldn't achieve a higher status like universal level where Goku or Saitama is. But that's just me. Anyway, I'm off to make another video, so like, share, and subscribe if you like the content, and comment below if you agree or disagree with my rankings. All that stuff really helps me out, and for now, Dad's out.